Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This is for Course 3, Lesson 4-6, Scale Models and Maps. We want to use proportions to solve problems involving scale. A map is a very common application of a scale. Also, models that we look at are applications of scale. All right, so a scale model is a model similar to the actual item or object, I should say, it represents. Okay, a common scale model might be a model train. It could be a model car, something like that. I guess, those would be two very common things that we would see. The scale is the ratio of a length of a model to the corresponding length of the actual object. So sometimes I write M over A, model to actual, very similar to the image over the original from the previous section. So I kind of tie those two together, and it's very consistent on how we set up these ratios when we're looking for them. So that's helpful. If you think of it that way, I think it will be a little more helpful. Okay, let's go straight into our examples. Using proportions to solve problems. On a blueprint, the living room is 4 inches long. The scale is 1/2 inch equals 2 feet. What is the length of the actual living room? Okay, so let L be the length of the living room. Okay, so the blueprint measure in inches, and I'm going to go to the scale right here. This is what I'm going to use to start with, because it's usually, I always start with what I know. In other words, what are the pieces I can write down for sure? So 1/2 inch equals 2 feet. I can write that down. Then I go here. On the blueprint, the living room is 4 inches long, so I can put a 4 here. I'm missing the actual length, so I'm going to put an L there. Please be sure you're making a cursive L so that it doesn't look like the number 1 and it becomes confusing. Then I'm going to apply my cross products rule, 1/2 times L and 2 times 4. Most of us actually don't write this section, which is fine because we can oftentimes do some of this mentally. So 1/2 L equals 8. To solve, I need to multiply each side by 2 over 1, which is the same as dividing by the number 1/2, by the way. If you have a question on that, please be sure, if you need clarification, please be sure to ask. Okay, so I get 16. The actual length of the living room is 16 feet. Again, the reason I multiplied each side by 2 over 1, that's because to divide by 1/2, multiply by its reciprocal, which is 2. Again, if you still have questions on that, please be sure that you ask for clarification when you come to class. Okay. All right, you have a quick check here. Oh, suddenly this is very large. Sorry, sometimes I'm wondering about the enlargement here. Okay, back to question number 2 now. For this one, oh, no, you won't. Oh, actually, yes, you're going to know it gives you everything you need. I'm sorry. Find the map distance from Birmingham, Alabama to Montgomery, Alabama, which is closest to the actual distance, and you're given multiple choice questions there. I'm not going to read those out to you at the moment. The map distance is about 1 1/8 inches, or 1.125 inches as a decimal. I'm fine if you use that. That way your life is going to be a little bit easier. Now, here again, I need to know this key. If it's not written for me in the actual word problem itself, then hopefully it's on the document that I'm looking at, as in the map. Again, it's what I know. I know that 1 inch on the map represents 75 miles in actuality. So I put 1/75. The measuring from Montgomery to Birmingham here, they're giving it to us as 1.125, or 1 1/8. And I'm looking for the actual distance. Again, you can generally choose your variable. Since I'm looking for a distance, I think D is a very common one, just as the authors did. Again, you're going to do your cross product, so 1 times D and 75 times 1.125. This gives me 83.375. If you have a calculator handy, use it. Otherwise, pause and double check that I did my math right. The distance from Birmingham to Montgomery is about 84 miles. So when I look back at my choices, I don't have 84 as a choice, but it says which is closest. So my answer would be choice A, because 85 is the closest to 84. Okay. Okay. And for question number 2, you are going to need a ruler that measures inches. So you want to be sure that you grab one before you try to do that, and you're actually going to have to do your own measuring. You can turn that measurement into a decimal so that it makes it more quick to work, so to speak. All right, so be sure you have these quick checks done before we meet next time in class, and I look forward to seeing you then. Goodbye.